guys, MWUSA Season 3, Episode 168. It's finally here. It's Wednesday. We're ready to go. I am leaving home early in the morning, cold morning, 48 degrees outside. I woke up and the house was a little bit chilly, and it was about 68 in the house. So I turned the heat on, just probably for an hour or so we'll be fine, and then it'll be warm enough outside. This morning I leave home and I'm about a block away from my house, and I get a message on my car saying engine coolant low, or overheating is what it said, overheating. And I know that means that the coolant is low because ever since I bought this car, about every 3 or 4 months, it would do that, and just have to put a little bit of coolant in there. There's a tiny leak somewhere that I can't find. It's not showing up on my driveway or anything, but somehow it's losing a little bit. And so I pulled over immediately, and I put some coolant in there, started it back up. Everything is okay. I'm good for another few months. So definitely worth the price for this car. Next month will be a year, I think, since I bought it, and I put whatever, 1 million miles on it, 70,000, 71.5 on it, and no issues with the car other than that. And I did put some tires and brakes on it, so everything is looking good this morning. We're heading out, and our goal today is to make $3,000 to $4,000. We're going to be checking into a hotel, and then we're going to be coming home for a meeting, leaving again in the morning, and then we'll be there overnight, and then try to hit another 5,000 to 7,000 tomorrow and Friday. So that's what's going on right now. We are on our way, and I'll be back to update you soon. Okay guys, in and out of that place in about half an hour. Not finding that much. I actually found only 2 plays, and one of my bread and butter machines has been down. The last time I was here, it was down, and it's still down now. I can't really tell what the issue is. Sometimes it's like the CPU fan is failing or something like that, and that's fixable. Just some ventilation also would help, but in this case it was it looks like it had been disabled on purpose. So I don't know what the deal is. It's been disabled for almost a week now. So anyway, I did find 2 plays, and sat at the first one. Bing, 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 got it done in about 30 seconds, moved on, and then on the way out, I was about to sit at a machine, and a lady sat down ahead of me. Turned out she had some money in it already, but around the corner was her mother, and she was playing a similar machine, and I sat down immediately, and on the first spin, I hit some money, and she's like, "Man, how you're so lucky." I said, "Yeah, well, you know, I get lucky sometimes, but usually I lose." And it turned out that it was her and her mother, and they had no clue how to play it. So I explained how the machine works, because she's like, "Well, what do you do? How do you get a bonus? And what does this mean?" and all that. And I kind of gave them the basics of the game, not exactly like what we do or anything, but just kind of explaining, if you get 2 of these, it means this, and you get this much money, and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I just warned them, hey, go enjoy your time together, but do it outside the casino. Your money goes a lot further when you're outside the casino than in the casino. And they thanked me, and we, like I said, we talked for a minute, and then they went back to playing. It's like, whatever, some people, you can't help them, sometimes that's just the way the world is. So I ended up leaving that casino ahead $83, and it was actually not a bad experience, in and out, and no problem. So $83 to start our day, and we're moving on to another casino. Let's go play some blackjack. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to play some blackjack. It's going to be a bunch of blackjack, back to back to back to back to back blackjack, just depending on how much time we have. I do need to be home this evening, so I got to remember how am I going to do that? How am I going to check in the room if I have to be back? This is very bad. This actually. I didn't even think about that. You don't check in until like 4, and then I have to be home just after that. The only other way would be to go to my meeting and come back tonight. That would be like midnight. This is a problem. It's a big, big problem here. So, all right, let me see what I can do about this, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into the next place and look at slots first, and I don't see a play anywhere. So I move on, go to play some blackjack, and I see there are 2 playable tables open. One of them has someone playing. They're about halfway through a shoe, so I decide to go to the other table. Sit down, start playing, lose like the first 4 hands or something like that, and then I'm just going back and forth for a minute, and then I've got a $200 handout maybe, or a $300 handout, and I get a double down, so I rebuy. So now I'm in for a total of $1,000, and I win that hand and continue playing, and by the end of the shoe, I leave ahead 1,100. So then I go look at slots again, and again, still nothing there. I did see a couple casino personnel that wanted to chat for a minute. I talked to them, so all that was good, no issues there. I cashed out part of my money and kept some in chips for later, because I will be back later on, and I still have chips. So let's see here. Really, that's what's going on there. I mean, it wasn't a very long visit, under an hour, and right now I'm moving on to another casino. This one, shift change happens in 5 minutes, so by the time I get in there, I should be good, but I will be checking slots first anyway. So because the shift that's getting off now will still be here tomorrow when I come back. And oh, there's another thing I wanted to update you on. So I mentioned there was an issue with checking in and getting home in time, because check-in time is not until 4 p.m. and that's a problem for me, because I won't be able to make it home in time for my meeting, and I cannot miss the meeting for any reason. So I called the casino, called the hotel, and they allowed me to check in early, and they said if you check in too early, it's like a $30 fee. But what's wrong with that? I mean, I would check in 5 hours early and take a $30 fee, but I think you can only go back an hour or 2. So we're going to check in early at the hotel, and then we're going to head home, and we're not going to stop at any other casinos on the way home, because there won't be time to make the meeting and go to the other casinos. And we'll see what happens. So right now, I am continuing on to the next casino, and going to go in there, play some blackjack, play some slots, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. It took a little longer in there than I wanted, but we're going to move on to another casino now. Went and played blackjack in there. Actually, I played slots first. I was ahead about $32 or so. Actually, I was ahead exactly $32. And then went and played blackjack. When I got there, there were only 2 tables open. Both of them were occupied. So I took a walk, another lap around the casino. Then I came back, and I was able to get a seat. Sat down, started playing, bought in for 500, lost that, and then bought in for another 500. Was down to my last bet about 10 times before things started turning around, and then started getting busier, and I ended up leaving. At that point, I was ahead $575. So plus $575, and I'm grumpy about it, but what are you gonna do? I'm happy that I won something at least, and ended up ahead $32 on the slots. So right now I am moving on to another casino, and see what we can do there. Probably may or may not have blackjack. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't, then we're going to move on to the hotel and see if we can play at that casino, see if we can check into the hotel early, even if I have to pay something to get in there. I'm going to do it so that I have the time to get to my meeting. So that's where we are right now. Temperature finally moving up. It's still in the 60s though, 68 degrees. It's sunny right now, some clouds in the sky, but overall a nice day. So I wish I had like a section on emotions here, but it would just be obscenities most of the time. So I just gotta hold back some of the things that you see happen. How many times I had 19 and lost to a 5-card, 6-card 20, and I had blackjack only 3 times in there, and 2 of the 3 times I was forced to take even money. And I think once she had a 20, and once was like 2 aces. So yeah, that's what's happening. What's going on with you today? Man, so many wasted opportunities on big hands too. That's what really kills you. To the casino, it means nothing. They don't even know who you are. It's like you have a $300 or $400 double down. They don't care. They don't know. It doesn't even affect any of their numbers, but it makes such a difference to people. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and move on. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. Lord, do I have a story for you. This was the most unbelievable thing just happened. It is so crazy. I go into this place, I look for slot machines first, and I find absolutely nothing. So I go to the blackjack area. I'm like, I'm running a little bit low on time. I've got like an hour. Just hit and run, make 500 or 600. It's not a big deal. I sit down. First shoe, I'm down $3,000. I'm like, I really don't want to wrestle right now. I just wanted a nice layup for once and get out of here. So I end up getting some low counts. By low I mean negative counts, and I'm like looking to leave. And there's nowhere to go. There's one other table, there's people on it, there's nothing I can do. The other area has all bad rules, and I've got no shot, basically. So I hang out there for a couple other shoes, and things are still, every shoe is negative, and I'm getting worn down. My friend was the pit boss, and I bought in for a total of $4,000 on that table. And I know what he does. He'll put me in for less to help me out because he knows, they alert whatever surveillance and all that. Well, there was no getting away from alerting surveillance, but it did help me in a way. So he ends up going on break, and then the lady that took over for him is a real nice lady, Asian lady. We don't talk very much, but we're friendly. I try, when I see pit bosses that I deal with a lot and they're in another pit, I try to go by and say hello and ask them how they're doing and things like that, and be friendly and build some kind of a rapport. And in this case, it may have helped me out. So I end up switching tables finally because the other people took off, and it was just going to be me in the high limit area. So I go over there, and first shoe is bad, and next thing you know, now I'm in for 6,500. Now I'm starting to get big counts, so I rebuy, start betting, I lose. Count goes up. Now I rebuy for 1,000, and another 1,000, and anyway. The way I ended up buying in for a total, well, before that, I was in like 7,500, and I had my max bet out there, which was $1,000. So it was one hand at $1,000. Max bet out there, I get a double down, and I double, it was a 10 against a 9, and I get a 7, and I'm like, I am dead. Dealer turns over a 4 and busts, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And busted with a 22, not even like 23 or something, but it was no face card. So for a second, it looked like it could have been an 8, and it's a win. And anyway, so now we got 4,000. It was my last couple thousand at that point. It got like 4,400 at that point, and just things start turning around a little bit. My bets go up, so I changed my betting. So I'm waiting till the count goes up a little bit more before hammering it, and it really did work, because the negative counts were doing very poorly, and once I got to like a true 2, things were looking really good, and I started clawing my way back. And at the end of one shoe, I was up to 7,000, so I'm in for 9,500 at this point. And they've got me in at 7,800, which is like the biggest blessing, because if I needed to, I'm betting 500, 800, $1,000 hands. If I needed to, I could still double down without having a CTR. So I end up coloring up 5,000 in $500 chips, because if you have the wrong pit boss, they're going to make you take $1,000 chips. They're going to make you take a $5,000 chip, and I don't want that. While I have the right people there, I wanted to get smaller chips. So by then, my friend was back, and so I'm up to like 7,500. I color those up. I got 2,500. Next shoe is awful, losing almost every hand. I got like a running minus 16, and I called him over and I said, hey, can I get a new shoe? This one's going awful. And he said, sure. I said, just one would be fine. He's like, for you, you can have 2. And when you're not playing rated, they're not supposed to give you any at all, because you could be a card counter. We don't know anybody like that. So he ends up giving me a new shoe. The next shoe is beautiful. Gets me up to like a little over $8,000. And next shoe is another terrible shoe. And I waited. I didn't want to ask until I knew that the shuffler was done, because then you could potentially be wasting an ask, and then they would say, oh, well, you have to wait till the shuffler is done, and by then it could be a positive count, and you just played through the whole negative count, right? So I waited till the light came on, and I asked him, and he gave me another one, and he said, don't tell anyone I did this for you, because you're not playing with your card, so don't tell anybody. I said, okay. And the next shoe was beautiful, and I ended that shoe. It's mind-boggling. It really, what I'm telling you here, it does not give it justice at all. For what happened and how fast it happened, both directions. I mean, I'm talking about less than an hour and a half for all this to happen, and I ended up leaving with $9,750. So I was ahead $250 after being down 9,300 at one point, spreading from 100 to 1,000. I almost went higher than that, but I'm like, I'm going to CTR. It doesn't make any sense. So, and I think I would have lost that hand if I recall. It was a really high count, and I think I got a 19 against the blackjack. But thankfully, everything worked out. I go to the cashier with $2,750, and man, I should look up what this was here that they said, because I actually looked online to see. Shoot. So they actually called someone over, because here it is, MTF or something like that. MTF is male to female. That's not what they're saying, but they said MTF or M something something, because I had the 2,750 and they asked me for ID, and I said I'd rather not, and I think they were expecting me to say no. And then a really nice lady comes from the back, and she's like, okay, and she just does it. She doesn't give me a hard time, doesn't say, why don't you want to give your ID, nothing like that. It was just nice, and she gave me no hard time at all. Whew. That was something. That was crazy. Honestly, that was crazy. I can't believe I got it back that quickly, and as fast as I lost it, it came back that fast, and I was in and out of there in about an hour and a half, and it's just nuts. I cashed out a portion of it. I'm taking 7,000 with me, and when I go home tonight, I'll bring another 10,000, just because I'm going to have a lot of my bankroll tied up in these chips for this trip. So, unfortunately, I'll have to carry more cash, and I'll try to cash these chips out later. But right now, I have to try to check into the hotel early, and I have to head toward home. Right now, I'm ahead of schedule about 1 hour to leave. In 1 hour, I would have to go straight home
and barely make it to my meeting in time. So they can tell me no right now, or they can say yes, and I'm done. But if they say no, I've got like an hour, which puts me really, really tight. And if they don't let me do that until 4, then I'm going to have to drive all the way home and then drive all the way back. And it would be like 12 hours of driving in one day. I'd prefer not to do that. So anyway, I'll let you know what happens, and I'm going to try to check in. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So here is my current situation. And I know you're going to think I'm crazy because everybody does, but here's what's going on. I went in, I checked into the hotel. They let me check in early, no problem. So didn't have to pay extra or anything. So I had like 45 minutes to do whatever I want. Son of a gun.
There's a 9-minute slowdown caused by construction in 3 miles. You are still on the fastest route.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that or not, but there's a 9-minute slowdown ahead. Just as I was about to say, I'm running a little bit behind. So I go in, I check into the hotel, and go up to the room, count my chips, make sure everything is where it needs to be. I have the right amount of money, and everything is right, and it was. And I just have so many chips right now in my pockets. I decided to take the bag that's used for ice and just put chips in there and put it in my pocket so they're not floating around, and that way, none of them are going to get lost. So then I go downstairs, I take one lap of the casino just to see. I'm not going to play blackjack because there's no time, but I looked at the slots. I put a $5 bill in a machine, and one spin, I hit what I was looking for, cost me $1, and I ended up ahead $38. So I go to cash out the $38, and I said, well, right now I'm at 43. Let's just make it an even 45. I put $2 in, then I put another 5 in, made it 50. Then I made it 60. So I start pumping all these 5s and 1s and stuff in there just to get rid of them because they stack up. So now I have $60. I go to the machine, I put it in, and it thinking, and then finally, after like 2 minutes, and I'm like, I'm kind of in a rush here, but it's not severe yet, but I'm kind of in a hurry. Finally, it gives me all $5 bills. Now I'm not happy. Now I'm like, you know what? Forget you guys. Let's just go for it here. I took all the 5s, I put them in another slot machine, and then added more to it and got it up to an even 100. And I'm going to cash it out at the machine next to the one that I used the first time. And that one was giving everyone $5 bills too. So I go into the high limit area, and I have exactly 100 in there, and I get my $100. That was a nice waste of about 5 or 7 minutes. And the biggest thing I was worried about was being late. But then I looked at the time, and I noticed I still had like 38 minutes before I had to worry about being late. No problem. So I'm like, let me just get some Asian food on my way out, and then I can eat it in the car. I won't have to stop on the way home, and everything is fine. And so I go there, and it's closed, but the burger place is open. So I'm like, okay, I've got $200 in food that I can charge to my room. Let me just get something from here. So I get a double cheeseburger and some fries. And I said, can you charge it to the room? And it was this big fiasco. And I'm like, great. Okay. Now at this point, I'm looking at 6:02 getting to where I need to be. And my meeting is at 6:30. Okay. So now I'm waiting for the food and waiting for the food and waiting for the food. And finally it comes, and luckily traffic actually lightened up a little bit, but now I'm looking at 6:09. So I have 21 minutes before I'm going to be late. And I had it set to go to my house. I changed that. I made it go to the meeting directly, and I can change in the car because I was smart enough to bring a change of clothes for the meeting just in case something like this happened, which seems to always happen because I'm trying to squeeze out as much EV as I can. But so I leave there. I'm on the road eating my burger in the car, eat my fries. They were excellent, by the way. We'll talk about that. And now I run into this construction, and I'm starting to worry. But I think I'm crazy if I even try. If I can get out of this early, and I can get to where I've got like 23 or 24 minutes, do I attempt to make one more stop? There's a casino where most of what I make is right in the front of the casino, and the casino is 5 miles off the exit. That's like 15 minutes if I run in and run out and get back to where I was, and 9 minutes to play it. I think I'm crazy here. I don't know if that's very smart, so I doubt that I will do it. Who knows? So hopefully not. But right now I'm in this traffic. I'm going to get through this, and then I'll come back and update you, let you know what's going on. Oh, while I still have you here, hope you didn't go anywhere. I did get a text message from a friend, and tomorrow he is planning on, he lives in this area, he's planning on going on a trip starting in this area. So I'll be back here tomorrow since I got my room. So I may go on a trip with him. First thing in the morning, I'd probably hit a couple casinos, and then we'd probably go for a longer trip, come back, hit those casinos again, and then sleep and so on. So, all right, I'm going to let you go right now, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I ran into another area where they were doing construction, and luckily I just zoomed right through that and actually picked up about 5 minutes. It was right before the next casino, and I just decided not to go there, although now looking at the time, it looks like I would have had time. But now I'm on target. I'm going to make it. I'm only like 150 miles away now, so it should not be a problem to make it. So everything is looking good. And I was just thinking back to that one session. I can't say that big session or that long session or anything, because it wasn't. It was just a volatile session, crazy volatility, and I end up ahead 2.5 units after being down, almost 200 units or 100 units. So that was some crazy swings, and I was helped by the pit bosses, and if it wasn't for the pit boss allowing me to get a new chute twice, I may have never made it back. So not for a long time anyway. I would have run out of time, is what I mean. So yeah, so what are you gonna do? So right now I just finished a phone call with a friend of mine, and this is my friend. I've told you guys about him before, that lives in Vegas now, and he was supposed to come back with his brother actually tomorrow, and we were supposed to get together, but unfortunately his health has not been good, and I know he's not gonna die, guys, don't worry. Everyone dies around me these days, but his health has not been good, and he's in a long-term care facility right now, and I just told him that I would do my best to be out there in September or October. So let's make a plan to meet in September or October in Vegas. So that's that. But what a crazy day it's been. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about tips and all that kind of stuff. So as far as tips, I won. What did I win? Like 1,800, 2,000, something like that on blackjack, and some money on slots as well. And how much did you tip today, FW? Let me look at my chart here. See over here is 1,100. I tipped $0 today, except I did tip $2 for food. They did ask me if I wanted to tip, and I felt like if I tipped, maybe I'll get my food a little bit sooner, because there was a lot of people, and actually I did. There was two people ahead of me, and I got my same meal that they ordered. I got mine before them, so maybe it did work and gave me some extra time. And what did you eat today, MW? And I'm trying to think if I ate anything this morning. I think and come on now, don't judge me. I had like a Milky Way bar this morning, and then I had that double cheeseburger, which was really good, and fries, and then I just had some jalapeno chips. So that was my meal so far today. And I would rate that burger probably a 10 out of from 2 through ace. I would rate that about a 10. And the only reason I wouldn't rate it higher is the bun was a little bit too small for the burger, so it's a little bit messy. And I was walking and eating and driving and eating, and made a little bit of a mess. The fries, though, were absolutely excellent. They were the bigger, thicker fries, longer fries. So, and they were crunchy. They were just real nice. I would give those at least a jack on a scale of 2 through ace. And then my chips were really good too. So, so that's where we are right now. Let's see, how did we do so far today? That was 1,200, 17, 18, 2,000, like $2,050. So not bad, considering we were in a rush both ways. And you know, what are you going to do? So right now, like I said, looks like everything's going to be good as far as time. I got lucky too, because on my way out here, I had about 100 miles range on my car, and I never fill up until it's completely empty. But I was looking at gas prices ahead, and it was like 70 cents more. So I decided to fill up early, and that gives me just enough gas to get home. I'm going to be within 20 miles of running out of gas by the time I get to the meeting. So that all worked out and made it possible for me to go to the meeting. So right now, the way the things are, I may stop and get something to drink on the way home because the time is there, and then I'll have my meeting, and then expect tomorrow to be a very long day. Expect that I'll probably break it up into 2 episodes because there's going to be a lot of action tomorrow. So that's it. We'll call it a day here. It's 75 degrees right now, partly cloudy skies, nice day. And if you have any questions or comments, the email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21